Squeegee podcast, episode 25 with Paul from Humane Made. Hi Paul.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for coming on. I'm a bit frantic, but I think it's all good now. Sorted it out. Do you want to start off by saying like what your studio's called and introducing yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. My name's Paul and I own Humane Made. It's a screen printing and embroidery company. Fairly new, although I've been in the industry for about 18 years.
Yeah.
So I've been doing different bits for quite a while, sort of dipping in and out. Over the last couple of years, I've sort of committed to it a bit more and started to get more involved in the printing side of things.
Yeah, so you've kind of you have got some strong values on show in your studio, obviously going from the name like Humane Made. And I think I spoke to you a little bit, or it's just quite apparent on your profile that you are like vegan yourself. Is that right?
Yes.
And
then I've been vegan for 5 years. And so for me, it was obviously important that all the inks I use are vegan, and where possible, I steer people down sort of sustainably produced and ethically sourced garments and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you've had brands in the past, haven't you? Yeah.
Yes, a few,
yeah. And like one of the big selfish reasons that I wanted to get you on as well is because like you reached out to me about NASFest.
Yeah.
And like how that you've worked on those types of, like you worked at festivals with brands. Were they brands that you owned, or did you work in them?
Yeah, they're ones that I owned. So I've had 3 brands in the past. My first one was when I was 17, 18.
Wow.
Which was it was called Robo Love. Weird name and weird designs, but back then it was very easy to own a clothing brand because there was no competition. I got the idea from America, from all these sort of pop punk bands that I listened to, and I was just like, oh, I could probably do that. So I came up with some pretty awful designs, got them printed by a local printer, and because there was no competition, it was really easy to sell.
Yeah.
So I was sold in like, I think about 30 shops worldwide.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's weird. Like now it just wouldn't happen. But back then, do you remember sites like Grindstore and Attitude Clothing and things like that? They're like the skate punk online shops.
Maybe not, because I'm not actually like a skater. I just appreciate skateboard art.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
They were like always advertising in like Kerrang magazine and stuff like that. But they were sort of like the go-to shops, and I was like probably for like 6 months their biggest selling brand with this really awful design that I'd done. And that one, I never went to a music festival or anything like that, but I did trade shows with it. So I exhibited in London at London Edge, which I don't know if you've heard of, but it's like
I think I've attended as a guest.
Oh, have you?
On a Snoop.
Yeah.
Like trying to figure out what everyone's doing, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a good place to go and see what other people are up to. I don't know what it's like now, but back then it was very American because, like I said, there wasn't many UK people doing it. I did that for a couple of years, and then the screen printer I used, he went bankrupt. I ended up outsourcing to somebody to ship it direct to someone, and they were awful. And the prints got sent back to me, and I was like, I can't be bothered with this.
Yeah,
that's grim. You could literally peel the print off the t-shirt. It was horrendous. So I sort of lost faith in it. And then a couple of years later, I wanted to give it another go. So I started another brand called TB Club, which stood for the Breakfast Club, not tuberculosis, which we got.
Yeah, that's fun. But you just like get this, because you can't always guess who your customers are going to be. So you're thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be this. And then all these people with tuberculosis. That's not funny.
Yeah.
No one's ever laughed about tuberculosis, sorry.
No, you'd be surprised what I've heard.
Yeah,
but, all of our designs were like, they were like celebrities that had been tattooed and stuff. So it ended up being known as the Tattooed Bastards Club.
Oh, cool.
It went through a few different name changes along those sort of lines, but that brand I took to quite a lot of festivals. So I did NAS, Boardmasters, Freeze, that grows what one I told you about in Belgium, and various like local little music festivals and things like that. So I did quite a few of that one. And then I did one more with a brand called Milo Clo, which was sort of a bit of a blip, really. I did it for about a year and just went to the Belgian one and a couple of local ones with it.
Yeah. So how come you did change the brands? Is it like you just outgrew them yourself because you're like literally becoming a teenager into an adult?
Yeah, a bit of a mixture of reasons. The first one, like I said, was I lost the printer, and I was young and I made a lot of stupid mistakes. I didn't really know what I was doing. The second one, I set it up and I got a couple of friends involved, and it all went to shit because they got greedy with money, unfortunately. So that one had a very nasty end. And then the third one, I sort of set up off the back of the other one, and I was in a bit of a mental health crisis-y time, and I couldn't really commit to it. So I just had to sort of abandon it, unfortunately.
Yeah, just like wind it down. But have you still got like stock there kind of annoying you in the background?
No, I mean, the way I've always worked is I've always done print to order. So okay. I've always held blank stock, and I've always had my screens. I've always had about 50 screens with the designs that I'm selling on, and then I'll just whack them into the machine, print it as they sell.
Wow.
So I didn't like the idea of having waste sat around. So I just saw that's been the easiest way.
Yeah, so, like use them like cartridges.
Yeah, basically. And because all my designs were very simple one color stuff, it was really easy. I think, again, because it was a bit longer ago, there was like a couple of years of a trend where everyone was wearing black on white, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then it went to white on black, and now it's gone quite colorful, so it's a bit harder now.
Yeah, so you're like, right, what's the fourth wave of this? But yeah. Humane is a studio on its own, but you're also doing Humane as a brand within there as well. I'm
just starting to, yeah. So I'm in the process of setting up at the moment. The big problem I have is that I'm more interested in owning a brand than I am a print company. So I got into it to print my own stuff rather than print for other people. And I do it a little bit every now and again. I'm trying to get a bit more into it. But I'm very fussy, a bit like you, I think, with who I work with. I won't just work with anyone. I reject a few people, and if people don't want to use the sort of garments I recommend, then I send them elsewhere usually.
That's what I'm doing now. That's just, I'm glad that I've got a bit of that reputation, but it is, I've just been worn down. I've just been worn down into like a nubbin of stress. So I just can't be dealing with it. And I've realized that I don't have to deal with it. So
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, money's not everything, is it? And it allows you more time to do the jobs you actually want to do. So
exactly.
I still take the odd horrible job here and there when I don't really want to, if I need a bit of money to see me through, whatever. But where possible, I avoid those sort of ones.
Yeah, there's so are you getting, you're doing that from the the preference side of it, not really like, so people are they walking up to the studio and just like knocking on the door, or
no,
is it that type of thing?
I do it part-time. It's like a side hustle kind of thing. So daytime, I'm the manager of an embroidery company.
Ah, okay.
So I work for another company doing embroidery. And then the company I work for, they've been very kind, and they've given me my own room to print from. So I've got all my screen printing equipment in this company I work for. As a bit of a trade, they use my equipment sometimes, and I use their embroidery machines. So it works quite nicely.
That's a really, really good mix-up. I've tried to kind of do that with someone here, but they didn't have like enough momentum behind them for it to work. Like what they wanted to do was work. They want to like do a certain amount of hours for free and then use the equipment, but it's kind of like, if you're not paying them, you can't really ask them to do certain things, and it's quite awkward. But I suppose if you're an actual employee, it's much easier. and you get because affording an embroidery machine is a massive overhead initially, isn't it?
Yeah. Where I work, we've got 3 Baradons and 4 Racomas, which we're going to switch out to Baradons. So we've got quite a lot of nice machines. And then I've obviously got my own printing stuff there. So we've got a decent setup between the 2 companies, really.
Yeah. So like, what is your press, and like, were they choices you made, or?
Yeah. So at the moment, I've got I bought it last year or the year before. The last couple of years have just merged into one because of COVID stuff, haven't they? But
yeah,
I think it was the year before last. I bought a Vastex V2000, which is it's a 6-color 4-station.
Yeah.
I did a load of research and I was really torn between that and I think it was the Cruiser.
Yeah, it's the same 6-head 4-station, so yeah, they're very similar, aren't they?
Yeah, the only reason I went for the Vastex was because I could get it next day.
Oh really? Jesus.
Yeah. Whereas I think the Cruiser was about a 6-week wait, and I had taken on a job that I needed the press for. So I just went for it.
Does yours have those like sidebars for holding the screen on the edges? No,
it's just the standard loading ones.
Yeah.
It's a great press. It's got a couple of negatives, which I'm sure every press has got something that somebody's not happy with. But the only issue I've got with it really is that the print arm is really thick. So if you've got small T-shirts, you can't get them over very easily.
Oh right.
Whereas I think like the other presses are a lot flatter, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm looking at it now, and it's kind of like got these chamfered. I always get that wrong, but like a chamfered edge, so kind of like the shirt like glides on. Yeah. But I've seen you do sleeves today. I think I was on your stories.
Yeah.
So you can get a sleeve on, but is that just the platen and it doesn't go anywhere near the arm?
It's just the platen. So the way the platen's designed is it's like that, and then the bit the platen sits on has got a bar underneath it. So it slides onto that bit. But with a T-shirt, there's like a bit of the bracket gets in the way in between the two, so you can't get it all the way on.
Oh, that's
which is a bit annoying, but I don't know what it's like with other presses, but new patterns for it are so expensive.
Yeah. That's interesting to know. I don't even know who holds Vastex at the moment. Like, who's the person?
There's 2 companies. There's like one called MHM Direct and the other one's called Dale's Way.
Oh, right, okay.
But neither of them have been that friendly to work with, really.
Right. I haven't had any interaction. Did I look at a dryer with Dale's Way and then I just got bored? I just if I can't, I think I give them one chance. Well, not a chance, but I try and like get quotes and things, and then I tend to just go for the ones that I've seen in other people's studios that have lots of referrals and videos, and you can see people using them and working with them. Yeah. So like, what about the dryer and other things?
So dryer, I sort of had a big overhaul. It must have been 18 months ago. But before that, I was using a press I got off eBay for sort of 200 quid, and a really, really dodgy flash dryer, the one that everyone seems to start with.
Yeah. The Chinese unverified.
Yeah, that sort of smokes at the plug and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've had one of them. It did, and then it just like smoked. I was like, fucking hell, leave that out.
So I started with those, and then changed to my Vastex, and then I got a grant 18 months ago, and I bought a little buddy.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I wish I'd gone for the bigger one, but I just don't have the space for it because it's quite awkward trying to get the garments on such a narrow belt.
Yeah.
And I've got I think I've got the same flash as you.
BBC.
I went for the bigger one on that one. I don't know what size yours is.
Yeah, I think I had to go for the bigger one as well. Yeah, the buddy thing, I was on that little buddy for ages, but so like let's talk about the inks, because then that'll lead on to like the curing.
Yeah.
I haven't heard someone say that this ink is vegan, but as a vegan person, you must have done as much research into it, because like, what inks are you using that you've heard
I'm
that
using international coatings. So I emailed the manufacturers to check, and they said that they're all fully vegan and everything like that. So it's a bit of a grey area. I know a lot of people think, oh, if you're ethical, you should be using water-based. I choose to go plastisol just because I think there's a lot of other benefits to it that you lose by going water-based. So being a small studio, I don't have a tunnel big enough to cure water-based efficiently. I feel like, you can wash a lot of it away with water, but there's still a lot of chemicals used. And I feel like with plastisol, there's actually less chemicals that I use. And also, it's like I said earlier, I can set all my designs up on loads of screens and just leave the ink in it. So I'm rarely even cleaning them. They just sort of sit there and I pull them back out and they're good to go.
Yeah. That's so interesting that you actually emailed them, because I was looking through all these bloody spec sheets. And then
I don't understand any of that.
I know, because I just didn't think to email them, because I thought they were from another country and it might be difficult, but that was stupid. But yeah, because I was just thinking, like, most of these chemicals, I was trying to do it by saying, well, that's vegan, that's vegan, that's vegan, that's vegan, but it doesn't have like a certification. No,
I think it's because they don't want to get into any trouble by claiming something's vegan and something accidentally falls into it, or something changes and it becomes unvegan. But I just, if I ever have a question, I'll just email the people. So same with like Target, I emailed them about their vinyl, that's all vegan. Beachfield, all of their caps are vegan except for ones that contain wool. Some of their backpacks some of them have got glue in, so there's like a couple, but they give you a full list if you ask for it.
I just don't know why I've like stopped at the point where I've just like emailed them, because normally when I email them or try and get a response, I just get data sheets. And they're like, you look and see, and I'm like, I don't bloody know. What does soil association mean? Or I need to get the soil association approved people on, because they've got a whole vendetta against, not vendetta, that's going to sound way too strong now, but they don't allow plastisol in the front door. But I feel like soil association is looking over here, and we're, as vegans, we've got like a slightly different set of criteria as what we're like judging things against. Like waste and energy consumption and water and
it's really quite an interesting one when a customer comes in and they say, I'm expecting you to use water-based. If they want 10 t-shirts, there's no way I'm using water-based. It's just not worth the hassle of it, really, especially if it's just a one color one that you can efficiently sort of bang out with plastisol inks in a safe and controlled way. Then why not? As long as the inks are vegan and you're disposing of waste correctly and all that sort of stuff, it shouldn't matter as much as people think.
I know. I love that you're saying all the things that I've been trying to like bang on about, but I feel like the older people in the industry have like these like still negative things about plastic, because they used to contain things that have been taken out for ages. They haven't updated, they haven't refreshed their understanding on it.
They used to be full of like toxins and stuff and quite nasty to work with, weren't they? But it's so different now, and I think they have to be because of what people expect from their materials.
Okay, awesome, thank you. What about these garments then? So I know you've just mentioned a bit of Beachfield. What about like, what is your go-to shirt that you will print on as your shop shirt?
My go-to is Continental. Cool. I've used their stuff for over 10 years. And as a result, I get good prices from them. So I'm in a position where I can offer them almost the same price as what other people offer Gildans, really.
Oh, right. Wow.
I also, as a premium, I'd go down the Stanley and Stella route. But yeah, those are sort of the only two that I offer, really. I feel like they've got pretty much everything you need other than sort of polo shirts. I don't think either of them have done a decent, affordable polo shirt yet. I
don't know about the price on it, but Stanley Stella have polo shirts. I've got one in the front. They've had them for a while, and they've got the long sleeve ones as well, which are really nice.
Okay, we'll have to get some samples in.
Yeah.
Have a look. I get in actual polos quite a lot, and I'm always sort of like, oh, I don't really have anything good, so I sort of steer away from it.
Yeah, they got those, and there's something that I'm wetting myself in anticipation for is Sherpas.
Right.
Like Sherpa hoodie, like they're kind of like outside fleecy. Oh my God, I want those. Because I've already figured out exactly what embroidery I'm putting on the back. Yeah. It's going to be monster. It's nice. Yeah, I'm very, very excited of those. I printed what was it called? Polyester jackets today.
Right.
So that's,
how'd that go?
It's good, but you have to know the inks. So it's actually quite scary, because the first time I did it, I was like, printed it, looked brilliant, did a little rub test, fine. And then I did like a circular rub test. Right. And if you do that, it just went into dust. And I was like, oh, really? Oh shit. Yeah, because polyester isn't the same as nylon. It's like a little bit more hardcore. Yeah. So I think I've cracked it. There will be a video if it works well. If not, you won't see any video about it. I'll just forget that happened. But yeah, it's another type of nylon ink, but yeah, it's deceptive.
Yeah. Look forward to seeing it.
Exactly, because now those kind of brands are producing polyester things, and you think, oh well, that's not very good because it's plastic, but they're recycled polyester, and they're still looking after the factories, even if the factories are now in China because it's specialist. But it's all recycled bottles and things like that now, isn't it? Which is a good way to be going. I know. I think that apart from people actually certifying their inks vegan, I can't think of anywhere else the industry can go, because they've done so much for us, haven't they? So to sort it out. I wanted to talk to you about your clients being quite, I know you actually advertise to tattooists, but like, how are you finding working with that kind of like genre of customer?
It's 50-50. Some of them, I mean, they all work in Procreate now.
Yeah, I I know.
And generally the file resolution is too low. They generally sort of work in I don't know, that they don't even set it up as A4, it's like A5 or something, and they'll just draw away on it, and then
it's because they zoom in like this.
Yeah. And it's obviously not vector, is it? So it doesn't, I always just send it straight off to be turned into a vector, and then I'll take it from there. But the reason I've gone down that route is because I like the creative process of printing, because I like to have an involvement in creativity, but I can't draw. So for me, producing somebody else's artwork in some way is where I get enjoyment.
Yeah.
So that's why I sort of target tattoo artists and brands and bands sometimes. I find bands a bit of a nightmare to work with, so I don't get too involved with them really. Is it because of their deadlines? And it's a combination of deadline and wanting the lowest price with a 6-color print on every area of the t-shirt and that sort of thing really. Yeah. A tattoo artist generally wants a single color print, maybe 3-color at the most, and as big as you can get it. So. I know. White on black, absolutely enormous open area of mesh. If you can't do that, then you just shouldn't go down tattooists. And also, if you haven't got one of those digitizers on hand, those vector artists. Yeah. What do you call them? They're the same people as the digitizers, aren't they? But vectorizer. Vectorizer. I just call mine the digitizer. I don't know how they do it so quick. I know. I feel like they've got this program that they're just not telling us about. It's like, there must be some plugin for Illustrator that improves the image trace feature or something. Yeah. So they actually get it. I don't know. But I know damn well it isn't, because I've asked my my guy to film his screen before, and he does actually just go and plot it out really quickly with a pen, like. Yeah, maybe he cheated on that one just to make you think. Yeah, like, oh my god, I've been asking you for all these years, and it's been so laborious. But yeah, I don't think there is an easy way around. But I kind of hope Adobe don't bring out an amazing live trace, because it will just get rid of all those people's jobs. Yeah. So
then what have
Yeah,
they got?
Pretty
Pretty shit. Loads
Yeah.
of. Anyway, might stop them ringing us 10 times a
true.
day.
This is the one thing I hate about posting on social media, is that you're guaranteed to get 10 at least digitizers message you, and then somehow they get your phone number on WhatsApp, and you just come in all directions.
Exactly. You're actually quite hard to, because I didn't know your surname, you're very hard to like
Find.
Yeah, you're like a little ghost on the website, because I was doing all my regular little search tactics, but I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I did wonder if you'd be able to find much out, considering like so there's a sort of 18-year history. It's all quite hidden.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so like, what is the plan for selling these kind of shop shirts that you've been printing today? Because you've done like the arm with the like the noodles and the chopsticks.
Yeah, it's like ramen bowls and chopsticks down it.
Yeah.
It's gonna have like a little squid on the breast pocket. It's quite funny. Like I say, like I'm not artistic at all, so I don't know what everyone else does with the new designs, but I found some Indonesian guy on Instagram.
Yeah, no, that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so affordable, and it allows you to print stuff you actually want to print, which is great. So little tip for anyone who wants to print stuff that they like, just buy the artwork.
Exactly.
But I haven't really come up with a proper plan yet, because I've done things so differently in the past, but things have changed so much since I was last doing it. I've got a family now, so I don't have as much free time to go to events as what I used to. I know you do a lot of like the market stalls and stuff, don't you?
We've got 2 regular market stalls, and then we want to do festivals, because we just think that's the epitome of fun. That's like literally pushing all the most fun things together for us. But
music festivals and stuff are so good, because you pay quite a bit to go. What is that? Was it like 800, I think, when I went?
It's a bit more. I think there was like a deposit of rough. M deals with it, and I just go, yeah. I think it was like around the 1,400 deposit, and then there might be another, maybe even almost another grand due now, and it's in July.
I think I got a good price, because I did all 3 festivals. I did the Boardmasters, NAS and Freeze at the same time, so I think I paid, it was about 800 for Freeze and NAS, and then like 1.5 for Boardmasters, because it's like a week long. But they are so fun, but it's stressful knowing how much stock to take over the 3 days or something, how much alcohol to take.
You need to give me some insight, because when you said like something like, do you mind me saying how many sunglasses you sold?
No, it's fine.
No, you said you came on the DMs and you were like, oh, I sold 500 pairs of sunglasses, and that just went, oh shit, I've only got 25 of each beanie. Like, that's my most comparable product, and I'm like, shit, am I underestimating this? Or like, because you have to be able to afford it to bring it, be able to decorate it in time. There's so many variables. The
thing is you never know what's going to sell. Like, we just happen to have these sunglasses made, and we're just we'll just take them with us. We also took like, I think about 400 t-shirts, and probably sold about 50 of them. Oh no, don't say things like that, Paul. But that was like only one of them. Like, another time, when we went to Grosrock in Belgium, we took like, I think about 500 t-shirts and sold them all in a day. It's just like, it's so hard to gauge what's going to happen. I've never lost money on a festival. I've always, the way I always worked it out was I'd work at all of my costs, and then I'd work out how much stock I needed to sell to cover the costs. And then I'd work out how much profit I'd like to make, and then take a little bit extra than that. Because obviously the more stock you take, the more you've got to sell to make profit. So it's just being sensible, really. I know, it's horrible. I'm literally looking beyond my computer at this just very intimidating whiteboard of all those types of figures. Like, and then over there's about 36 different types of t-shirts. So if I sell 50 t-shirts, I'm gonna cry. But I don't know, because we've got really bad competition, this really strong competition, I mean.
Like, there's like Bad Mondays right next to us, and they're sponsoring an event. Yeah.
That's a good thing though. Like, I always found that being next to a good brand was better because everyone goes to that area. You just got to make sure that you've got something to pull them into your stand. What I used to take was probably about a 6 foot high MDF board of, like, you know, those sort of things when you go to like the pier and there's a hole to put your face in. I had one of those with like a big picture drawn on it with my branding all over, and people would come over to have their photo taken with it, and then you sort of try and sell them something while they're there.
What do you think is this lame idea or good idea? And you can completely break my heart on it because I've only just bought a few. What do you think about putting temporary tattoos on people?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'll go for that. I just took a marker pen and let people draw on my friends that were working for me. I also took, this was painful, but people go and absolutely loved it. I took waxing strips and let people come over and wax our legs and things, so to sort of drew people
hairy
in.
Enough.
They could get people who are passing by, some hairy skaters or something.
How did you think of that? You've just been to a lot of festivals and this type of thing.
I also took 1,000 condoms to give away.
That's a good idea.
One of the most disgusting things though was gave the guy a condom and he was like, "Oh, can I have a t-shirt as well?" And we said, "Only if you bring it back filled with cum." And like 5 minutes later he came back.
And he just poured that. That's awful.
No, you got the t-shirt though.
Jesus Christ. I'm not saying anything like that. Yeah, that's pretty awful. Do you know Rogue Print from these episodes?
I started following them on, I listened to their interview and I started following him. His sort of cum socks and stuff.
Yeah. I am not gonna get this podcast sponsored now because of freaking Rogue Print and your lovely little story. I'll be like, look at these episodes, and it's like,
well, there's always Durex, isn't there?
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I found giving away things like sweets, condoms, lighters, just like little cheap promo-y stuff that people liked.
No, it's clever. Yeah, I'll have to think of something clever. I do have this. It was actually my wedding gift to M. Was I'd say it was about 25-foot inflatable windy sock man.
Yeah.
That. Okay, but he's only come out on the wedding and like a couple of summer parties, but I think
definitely take that.
If I could get that through testing or something, then I could bring it because that'd be quite good.
What's it powered by?
It's just electric, and it's just a giant fan, and then you just put the big silk thing on it, the big silk tube, and it just.
You won't need any sort of testing, I don't think.
They're kind of asking for it, but.
Are they? I never had anything tested. And having a fan will be a great thing because it gets quite hot there, so people come over to stand by your fan.
Yeah. This is kind of like a really aggressive fan because I had just the most stupid thing when I got it. I went outside into the builder's yard and it's all like gravelly. So I just put it down and I was just like, turned it on. And then I just like felt if it was working and then I put my face over it. So it just gravelled my whole face with just fanned loads of gravel into my face.
Yeah.
So that was my first interaction with it. So yeah, I don't know, you'd have to take the thing off.
Yeah.
If I say that you suggested it to Em, then she might let me bring the windy man.
Yeah, I would. I'd take it. Can you put a t-shirt on it?
I could. It would have to be in a custom, but I could vinyl it up along the edge of it.
Yeah, or like cut open the back of a t-shirt so you've got some buttons to put it through or something. So it's like,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
There's some really good suggestions on how to pull the people in, because you don't. I was going to do like live screen printing, but I don't think it's the type of crowd who would appreciate it. No.
I don't know what the crowd would be like nowadays, but back then it was that people were generally quite drunk, and I don't think it'd be safe.
Yeah.
It's more. I always found just doing something fun was the better way, probably.
Yeah.
Not that printing's not fun, but I mean,
but it's
drinking fun stuff.
Yeah.
We had a beer pong competition as well on like the table at the front.
That's really clever. You're making my mind go a little bit this way instead of screen printing.
Yeah, so you had to steer back a little bit.
Yeah, let's bring you back into the topic. So, like you're saying, working from this other studio means that like you've got access to the equipment and stuff. But actually, I'd see that as the advantage with your home life situation as well, though, because does it mean that like when the others end the day, like at like 6 or whatever, and they lock up, that means you have to go home as well? It's
No,
like
so
helping you get home.
Yeah, because I'm a manager, I've got a key. So I work for them 8 till 4, but I have to get home as close to 4 as I can to sort stuff out with my boy.
Yeah,
so it's like bath time, dinner, all that sort of stuff. So instead, I get up for work at 5:30 and get there as early as I can, so I can squeeze in 2 to 3 hours every morning of my own work before I start work. So I sort of do it first thing rather than end of day, and then in the evening I'll do like working on my website or admin stuff and bits like that. Occasionally, if I'm busy, I'll go back over to the office and do some printing in the night or whatever, but I try not to if I don't have to, really.
Yeah, and I suppose that gets easier when you're working on your own projects. I'm kind of like, say that's coming out of my mouth, but I'm actually just looking at mountains of my own projects that I could easily stay here working a lot longer than customer jobs. Yeah, it's so hard to like shut it off, isn't it? I suppose like having that time constraint with your family like helps you like get home at least.
Yeah, I sort of have no choice. I have to be home by like 4:30, which I'm absolutely fine with, but it does mean I've got to be really strict to getting up at 5:30 every morning and sort of just cracking on, really.
Yeah, it's tricky. Are you planning, I know it's early days, but are you planning on trying to bring anyone else in? Are you allowed to in the setup, or?
At the moment, I'm nowhere near even thinking about it, to be honest, because I obviously work full time and sort of do this on the side. I've got no intentions of sort of leaving my job anytime soon. I enjoy working there. They're a good company and they've given me a good deal with my equipment. So I'm obviously like very grateful for the situation I'm in. So yeah, I've got no interest in dealing with payroll or anything like that. I never want to own a big company. As long as I'm making enough money to pay myself to have an all right standard of life, that's all I want, really.
Yeah,
I just want to enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah, so you just like, because you've kind of got like this perfect sweet spot where you can kind of do your own thing. You get like the wage, which is like the security, I guess, and then then you can just, if something does do well, it's a bonus instead of something that you're like 100% relying on coming in.
Exactly. And one of my big problems is I suffer quite badly with like imposter syndrome. So I never view anything I make as actually good enough. So I'm constantly trying to improve on things, and so sometimes it takes me a while of trying to improve on something to realize that I was actually better before I tried to improve it.
Yeah.
So.
Just from this redrawing thing, or like what part of it are you just like your eye for design, or literally everything, or
just the general process? So I used to outsource my screen exposure to a local company, and obviously I bought an LED Vastex unit last year.
Cool.
So I started doing it myself, and obviously it's just a whole new nightmare trying to figure that out. And I was talking to Jack from Old Elton's yesterday.
I
was having a nightmare or something. Every now and again, I drop into his DMs of like, "Help me, what's going wrong?" sort of thing.
Yeah.
And what I'd started when I bought the exposure unit, I had no problems really. Everything was fine. I'd probably have 1 in 15 screens that I just wasn't happy with, and I was like, I need to get to a point where every screen's perfect every time. So I sort of did countless different exposure calculators and whatever else. But it was still every now and again I'd just get one. And then I kept hearing about people sort of dunking their screens in water for a couple of minutes before blasting them
Washing
out.
them out.
So I gave that a go, and it worked perfectly for screens. I was like, oh, I'll do that from now on. And then it got to a point where I'd say sort of 3 or 4 out of 5 screens, I was getting scumming all over the design.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't figure it out. And I was trying everything. I did exposure calculators, well, that was fine, but every single screen was just getting, I'd say about 10% of the designs scummed over. And then it was last night I went onto the manufacturer of the emulsions website, and they said not to dunk them.
Really?
Apparently, so something that I thought, oh, everyone's doing this, I better do it. Started doing it, and it just completely fucked everything up for about a month probably.
What was the particular brand that you did?
It's called Alchemy 6000. I get it from Pyramid Screen.
I've never heard of it.
I've tried a few different ones, and theirs is just the one that I find works best for my setup.
Yeah.
I couldn't get on with the stuff from Screen Print World. No matter what I did, I just
Really? Yeah, it's so tricky. It's like so the really hardcore emulsion that I use on people's pre-exposed screens is like resistant to frigging everything. So I have to do that because I don't know whether they're using water-based or plastisol or solvents or discharge or whatever. So I have to use like the most hardcore, insane stuff. And that one's like, it's called Azicol Z1 because they're always called stupid things, aren't they? Yeah. Instead of just like really good emulsion or I don't know. So, but they've got like 30 different emulsions on this site where I get it from, and I only get emulsion from them. Yeah. And then I do have the 2 ones from Screen Print World, and I've used them, like I use them kind of like day to day in the studio for things. Yeah. But I don't send them out, and it's just because of that reason that I don't know if people are going to use water and then maybe plastisol at one stage. So yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? But if it's just that you're soaking it and it just can't take the water. Yeah, that kind of makes sense though. At least you've got like a solution for it.
Yeah, on their website it said something like, we know it can be tempting to dunk your screens after exposing, but don't, because something about it softening the emulsion too much and then the liquid seeping back into the mesh.
It just seems really anti the chemistry of what's happening with emulsion, because it hardens, it literally makes new bonds with when it undergoes the UV light. Yeah. So it's literally bonding and hardening. So if it hasn't bonded, then you're thinking, well, the bonds haven't been made. They can't just be made, get softened with water, and then the water can't just break those bonds and make it into a liquid.
It's really weird, but it's doing my head in. But I seem to have fixed it now. I did, I think, 5 screens this morning back to back, and they were all absolutely fine. So
cool.
It seems to have worked.
Yeah, it's tricky. I get used as a screen print helpline when people are super stressed. So hopefully, I'm not like encouraging loads of more people to start calling me all the time when they're stressed out, and now they can use FaceTime. Yeah, they're like,
what's this?
Oh god, yeah. I'm fine with it because sometimes I can help and I can see like, oh, that, and then it's actually quite rewarding helping people out. But it's good that we've kind of got like a little community we can all ask each other there. It's cool.
Yeah, it's weird with screen print, isn't it? Like you can have something like that issue I was having, which is, it's so frustrating, and for me, like, it literally disrupts my sleep. I'll lie in bed thinking, why is this happening? And then as soon as you manage to solve it, it's like the best high. You're like,
I know, and then there's another this is one of those things about the vegan ink thing, and that one of the reasons why I don't think they can call themselves vegan inks, because I was talking to another printer the other day and he said, I never use ink straight out the tub. So if you go and put like puff additive in it or something, there's nothing to say that puff additive is vegan, and everyone's treating ink differently. So it's kind of like, you can't, there isn't really a good way of like controlling all of these different variables. And then what about your emulsion and your cleaning chemicals? And I think we just got to do our best.
Yeah. And like the thing is, that is the definition of veganism, isn't it? To do your best where possible. Because I think you get down to the root where medication can't be vegan and whatever else can't be vegan. Is like, where do you draw the line? So it has to be practical at the end of the day. Do your best sort of thing. Are you vegan?
I'm calling myself vegan now, but I struggled with it a lot because I've been a vegetarian, like a very strict vegetarian, for about 7 years. But then I struggled with calling myself vegan for that what you're just saying.
Yeah.
So I felt
I don't like to.
I know. It's I was on the vegan podcast, the Bloody Vegan podcast recently, talking about this.
Okay.
And it was like my kind of like hang-ups about calling myself a vegan person, because of just like there's a bit of family stigma where they just like kind of look down on vegans a bit, and they just think they're like weedy and pale. And then there's there's just like things that I feel like I wasn't doing well enough in, like that stupid thing that you just said. It's like there's gelatin on fucking everything, and I didn't realize how embedded it is into the things that I was doing. Like you can eat a protein bar and then 2 weeks later you find out, oh fuck, that's got gelatin in it, and I'm like, what? It says it's vegetarian, so I just snapped it up. But I'm just,
it's a minefield,
trying a lot harder. It is tricky.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not on the other end where I won't drink beer because of so I'm probably not like a gold star or whatever they call themselves vegan, but I'm a bloody good trying one.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to be. Like nobody likes the militant ones, do they?
No. Good. Yeah, exactly. But that goes with anything. It's like a militant feminist. I could be one of those if I wanted to be, and I'll just upset people. Or I think everyone who's like become a vegan or vegetarian has always had that kind of like unnecessary heated argument with someone who's like trying to get them to justify why they're vegetarian. It's like, you be you, I'm being me, I'm not pushing this on you. But they're like,
exactly.
You just accidentally push a nerve about it, and then you've got to justify yourself. Boring. But it's cool that you kind of like pushed it into your business values as well, because then people can approach you as
you
vegans.
have to some extent, don't you? I sort of was toying around for quite a while of making my brand a very vegan brand, but it's not me. So I can't pretend to do something that I wouldn't wear. I just can't do that really. Yeah,
it's like Em had a brand about it was called Andro Clothing, and it was specifically for like androgynous people and the gay sector. But then we realized you do not want to be in this sector. There's like you cannot put a foot right without someone going, why do lesbians need their own clothes? We're just normal like everyone else. It's like, that's not what I meant. So we just do what you're doing now, I think, is just printing designs that you like and you'd wear, and then you just hope that like-minded people like that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you can get a t-shirt for yourself out of doing something, then it's all good, isn't it, really?
Exactly. So have you got any advice for people who want to start a brand, or would you kind of, because you're doing both, so any
advice? Like I said, I feel like I'm learning it all again just because so much has changed. I think something that I struggle with, which I know is important, is putting out your personality in your brand so that people can connect with it. You'll find like-minded people easier. So sort of, I don't like social media, but I'm trying really hard to get more into it and accept it a bit more. But I guess like finding your tribe on there and building a following of people that buy into your views and values, and then they'll like the designs off the back of that probably.
Yeah.
That's the sort of route I'm going down.
Are you doing that with your descriptions, or just like the hashtags that you're using? Or are you kind of like explaining the reason for your designs? Are you going into that much detail?
I'm sort of mixing it up by trying to put a bit of my lifestyle into it a bit more. So like, I really like cooking and barbecues and pizzas and whatever. So I'm trying to like show that in my feed alongside the t-shirts, and hopefully people will, I don't know, I'm trying to work out myself at the same time in a way.
Yeah.
See what happens, I guess. I'm at a point at the moment where I'm trying to sell myself. I don't care if I don't sell anything. I'm doing it just for a bit of fun. If it goes somewhere, great. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like on the Facebook, we were asked recently, like, what are you trying to do with Blind Maggot and stuff? But it's like, we're not trying to do anything. It's literally surplus of YouTube videos. And then we just, we would be on the market selling regardless. Like we've been selling homewares, we've been selling loads of different stuff. So that's just another part of what we enjoy. So we don't care what we're selling. It's just fun to sell your own stuff.
If you're printing stuff you like, and you're going to attract customers who want to print that same stuff. So it's a way of building your client base at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So put a bit of yourself out, because like the generic kind of like cold brands is no one's buying into it. You have to have like a bit of a...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at old school brands, like even a brand like Nike, when it first came out, it had its personality very strongly in sport and in certain sporting individuals, and it still does to some extent. It's just it's so big now, it's on a huge scale, so you don't really notice it as much. But they would have had like a very strong culture within their brand.
Yeah.
And there's other brands like it, like streetwear kind of thing. Have you heard of Abandoned Ship Apparel from Scotland?
No.
So they've been going around for, it must be over 10 years now. I've been to quite a few festivals with them. But they sort of went to, I think I might be wrong, but they did a lot of like cut and sew stuff and made custom shirts and things like that. But they have a very strong culture within their brand. You can look at their stuff and you know what kind of people they are, and you know what kind of people are going to wear it. So it's just creating an identity around a brand, I think. Something that I've always liked is like finishing touches. So like nice swing tags, nice packaging, additional little prints here and there. Have you heard of Johnny Cupcakes, the American brand?
Oh yeah, that's
so
awesome.
Like, I love Johnny Cupcake. Not so much anymore, because I feel like it appeals to a certain age more probably. But when I was younger, I used to love his stuff, and everything behind it. Like you'd buy a T-shirt and there'd be a print on the hem sewn over, and that the tag inside would be an oven glove. It's just stuff like that I just found really impressive, and it always made me want to do stuff like that. And with all my brands, I've always done or try to do like different packaging for my designs. Wow. I did this one T-shirt which had a picture of Audrey Hepburn on it, and I made a matching video sleeve, and I went around all the charity shops, bought every video I could find, and I packaged this T-shirt in
the video cassette.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So stuff like that. I always try and think of different ways of doing stuff. Mainly because I enjoy it, but also because I think it gives people stuff to talk about.
Exactly.
So like when I started the TV Club brand, with it being called the Breakfast Club, everything was packaged in breakfast packaging. So I went to the cash and carry and I got like noodle boxes and burger boxes and sort of printed on all those and things like that. Just to entertain myself, I guess. Really.
Yeah, but then other people like, appreciated it. This is a really boring question because you just told us something really cool, but like, how did you manage like sending those through the post?
Yeah, Some things easier than others, but
Yeah.
Most of my orders had to go out in boxes. So I bought like just little boxes that we could stack the other boxes in.
Oh, cool.
To protect them. Not exciting really. It's just
Mm.
whatever would contain it, and people had to pay the postage sort of thing.
Yeah, I know. It's tricky though, because we were discussing something earlier, because I always wanted to sew in hem tags,
Yeah,
like at the bottom, but then I've literally just like folded 50 shirts and put all the swing labels in and done all the neck labels. So
yeah.
if now I had to go and like sew in 50 hem tags and I can't sew on a button, that would like do a whole new layer of other stuff. So it's like, I need these, like, it's good to have the ideas, but like I have to have like really quick practical ways of being able to implement it.
What I used to do was I would order in, it'd be about 1,000 tops at a time, and I'd take them to my mum, and my mum would sew all the tags in.
Shop hack.
Then, yeah,
my mum does it.
Yeah, get your mum to do whatever she can. But I used to have like a little retail shop.
Oh,
So
yeah.
at the front, I had, it was like just a huge wall with I printed all of my designs onto wood and screwed them to the wall.
Oh, cool.
And then I had a rail opposite it, just with all of my different blank garments on. So people would come in and they'd pick which garment they wanted and then which design they'd want. And then I had my press behind it all. And it was a bit like Build-A-Bear, but for t-shirts.
Wow.
And they could pick a design to go on the front and back and sleeve. I'd have like all of them set up, and I had each screen already inked up in either black, white, or sometimes another color as well, like a red or maybe a split fountain kind of design or something.
Wow.
And I had like a nice little seating area where people come in, have a drink while I wait for their t-shirt to be made. It's pretty cool, but hard work because I would be doing online orders at the same time.
Yeah.
I used to advertise in a couple of magazines, and whenever the magazine went out on that day, I'd usually get sort of about 150 orders probably. Just throughout the day, my phone's going ding, 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 ding. And it would be like trying to do that while also doing this other stuff. It's got quite confusing.
That's a very, very cool concept. Like so can they see you? So is there like glass in between you and they're like in a little coffee area and they can see you working in the back?
It was just a long shop and there was just an archway. I say long, it wasn't even that long. It was probably 30 foot. Like it wasn't huge, but there was a definitive front area with a counter, and then behind the counter was the archway.
Oh, good. So they can't just wander in. But
yeah, but I did things like a birthday party event for the brand where I'd let people in to print their own ones and stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah. Well, yeah. It sounds like you're just gonna bring all that kind of creativity and fun into whatever you're doing.
I try to. Like I say, it keeps me interested. I have the sort of mindset of if something's too easy and routine, I get bored very quickly. So I have to make it a bit hard, I think.
Yeah. And that's probably that's probably what's like you've still got your outlet for your own creativity. You probably wouldn't be able to like do it if you're just working for someone else, because you'd need like an outlet. So you might as well make the outlet pay you.
I wish I was the kind of person who could just have a 9-to-5 job doing something they enjoy and go home and enjoy their life. But
yeah,
I prefer to come home and be stressed all night.
Yeah. But yeah, it is useful doing the client jobs as well though, because every so often, not that frequently, but sometimes they might throw up like a variable that you hadn't thought of, like, you know, they might ask for something unusual and you're like, oh, I could throw that into my job that if I did it this way.
I did have a cool one come up the other week, or of a month now probably. It didn't go ahead, but this guy, he was a graffiti artist and he wanted a load of embroidered hats. but he wanted to spray paint them first. He was going to like spray paint artwork all over them, and then I was going to have to embroider design to where it worked with the graffiti.
Oh, cool.
But I think it worked out too expensive for him, so he didn't go ahead. But I thought it was a cool idea.
Yeah, but that's
how
something.
Do you find embroidery? Have you got a Melco? Is it?
Yeah, I've got a Melco. I think it's very average. I don't know whether it's me or if it's the machine, but I'm like eyeing up Baradons now because everyone's switching out. I think everyone's getting rid of Rakomas. That's just the trend. I'm sorry, Rakoma.
I hate Rakomas.
But how relentless was the sales guy?
What, from Rakoma?
Yeah.
Baradon?
No, Rakoma.
What, John Paul?
Oh my God. I don't, probably John Paul. I probably blocked his name, but he deserves his wage anyway, because he was like ring, email, letter or something. It was like, fucking hell. I almost got one just to stop it. But I don't really. If Melco is affordable, it was like industrial size enough to do the caps.
I think Melco is like one step above Rakoma, from what I've heard. I think Rakoma are like sort of bottom of the industrial hobbyist kind of end, I think.
Yeah.
The company I work for had them before I started working there, so I never knew any different. I sort of got the job, got trained on them, and I was like, oh, they do a cool job, but there's a lot of thread breaks and a lot of needle breaks and a lot of managing the badge through the machine. And then we bought out another company, which was an existing embroidery company, and they had Baradons, and the difference was just ridiculous. Like,
does it just like not thread? Why is it not thread breaking and stuff? Like, what is? Do you know what the reason is?
On the Baradon, so it's the way the machines are made. Like, if you look at a say like a Rakoma next to a Baradon, there's just a lot of better design features, like the thread that runs through from the spool of thread down to the needle. On a Baradon, it runs through a solid tube, whereas on a Rakoma, it runs through like a stretchy, springy one, which can get lint and air in it, and it blows around. Just parts are generally sturdier and more rigid. I just find that with the Rakomas, you can literally go over to them when they're not running and run your finger along the threads, and they will all come unthread, come out of their brackets. Whereas a Baradon, they're completely taut, you can't move them. So you get a breeze in a room for a Rakoma and it's unthreading.
Yeah, if you fart too hard.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Do you get that problem with the Melco? Is the Melco generally all right?
I have no comparison because I haven't got like a Rakoma. This is like my first experience with it. Yeah. I can't tell whether it's me or the machine.
What's it like for hats?
So I did about 50 hats a few weeks ago, all the same thread color, probably about like 2 inches by 2 inches. Yeah. No needle breaks, like no thread breaks even. It was just running out of bobbin.
Yeah.
So that, beautiful. But then other stuff, like I'm trying to do these patches on some beanies, and it's like I'm just forcing it through. I'm just on like beanies. Yeah, just this like on if it has to change color a lot, it just like pulls the thread out of itself. And then it's kind of like, do I troubleshoot this, or do I just keep bullying the machine through to the end of the patch so I can go home?
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
It sounds like, is it consistently on the same color? Sometimes
it's just like, oh, I shit the bed and I came out again. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, I'm just going over, and then you can't even see what's wrong with it. I don't know. It's probably just that I've never invested in my education enough to go and get properly educated.
That's the thing. I'm lucky because I've obviously worked for a company. They're paying me to learn how to use it. So I've been doing it for about 5 years now. So I'm pretty good even with a Rakoma. I can generally work out how to get it going. But with a Baradon, you can pretty much just set it up and it will go. It's just so easy.
Tempting.
and it does caps very well. Like the way the machine's designed, the arm that the bracket sits on is curved, so the cap sort of bends around it, whereas on like a Ricoma it's a square end, and you can see the cap sort of struggling to turn.
Oh, right.
So there's definite design features on it which are just improved.
Yeah, but now you've got access to those two. I'm so sorry, I'm taking so much of your time, but it doesn't matter.
That's right.
Well, it does matter, but I'm excited. So have you thought about like combining your screen print and then like putting embroidery over the top? Because
I haven't.
you can just kind of...
I've seen, do you know I Dress Myself?
Yeah, I think
Not me
I'm getting them
personally,
on.
them.
Yeah, they're coming on next week.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to know more about their stuff, but I've seen that they did this thing where they did a DTG print and then they embroidered on that and it looked amazing. So that looked cool. I've never thought of embroidering over screen print, but that would be quite cool.
Exactly.
If you could print something where the character or whatever is wearing an embroidered something and you can make that embroidered thing.
Oh, that's nice. That's going to be like tricky. Like I think I'm going to do something a bit more abstract, like flowers around a design. Yeah. I'm looking at a design that I kind of want to do some extra embroidered like flowers like around it because it's just on the hoodies. Because
We'll have to have a race until you can do it first.
Yeah, exactly. And all those, I just like doing those things personally that customers ask me to do, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it for you because that's too stressful, but I will do it for me. Thanks for the idea. It sounds super harsh, but you can't promise things to customers that are out of your like setup, can you? So
no.
But we can play around.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much, Paul. I feel like I've taken, I know I've got into the festivals and the veganism and loads of different varied topics with you, but is there anything specific you want me to ask? I Dress Myself? I think it's Hannah I'm talking
to. I don't know really. I'm sure whatever they have to say will be interesting to hear.
Yeah. What about other studios that you?
What's quite interesting actually is 2012, I was first looking at starting screen printing, and I emailed a few companies asking if they could give me any advice or give me any training or whatever. And there's a local company who I won't name, but they basically replied for a really shitty, we're not training the competition sort of email.
Oh, that's weird.
And I was a bit like, okay, I wasn't going to be competition. I was just doing it to be my own brand, but whatever. Yeah. But one of the people I emailed was Vino Sangre.
Yeah.
I've heard your one with. And it's quite interesting because I emailed him asking for a quote for some printing, which he gave me. And then I was like, oh, I'm really interested in learning. Like, do you do lessons or know anyone that would, sort of thing? And he replied saying he prints from his bedroom and there's only enough space for him. So it's so interesting to see how much he's grown since I sent him that message to where he is now.
That's incredible.
It's amazing. So it's nice to see because he came across as a really nice guy and he's obviously done well from it. So
that is everything. Every single time I hear about Vino Sangre, I know it's going to be something nice because it just resonates out of him, doesn't it?
Yeah. Same with Jack at Old Elton's. Everyone seems to go on about him. He's given me quite a lot of help over the last few months. I've always hit him up for advice and things. So
yeah. I think it's a really really nice community now. I think like for a long time I didn't reach out to people, but I think we're all coming together. We all seem like this generational thing. We all seem to be like roughly the same. I don't know how old you are, but
35.
35. Yeah, I think that's like I'm like 34. So I think around the like 29 to 35. I think it's just our time. We're just starting to own the businesses and make the decisions.
I think it is the older generation, and they're not all like it, but a lot of them, they just have that sort of they don't have that like abundance mindset. It's more of the work has to be taken by me, no one else, and I can't show anyone else my secrets. And so that trade's going to die with you because you're not sharing a skill. Right? And I find it weird with screen print. It's quite hard to find training. Like I'm down in Devon, and there's nothing here anywhere. So you have to sort of go at least to Bristol, if not further, to get anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I still do technically do training days, but they're just for a very certain type of person, like someone who's I didn't do experience days anymore. I just got bored of it.
Yeah.
So, you're just using me as like a fun hen do or some shit, and I'm like, this is not what I got out of bed for today. So I just do like startup business people,
right?
So,
yeah.
If they want to start their own studio or something serious, but so anyway. There aren't many, are there? There's more like art-based ones, but...
Everyone does like the printing a poster or a tote bag kind of workshop, but if you want to do actual like t-shirts and do it well, there's not really anything around. But everyone thinks they can learn off YouTube and do it themselves, and I kind of struggled with that. I'm more of a show me once physically and I'll be able to remember how to do it, but I really struggle with learning from watching videos.
It's tricky, isn't it? You've got to try and like cater for people as much as you can, but everyone, it's probably like my fault. Like I didn't go and learn the embroidery machine, so I'm probably just the same. So could probably fix all my problems in a day course. But,
possibly. I know Madeira do courses in, I don't know whereabouts are you based?
Newbury in Berkshire.
I don't really know. I'm awful at geography.
I know they do courses. I've looked into them.
It's worth doing, I'd say.
I know. I just feel like, okay, I will. And then I'll take my camera and show other people as well.
Yeah.
Then it'll be like worthwhile for me.
Yeah. Cool. If you have got any like questions I might be able to help with, just send me a message or whatever, and I'll see if I can help you out.
I don't think I've got like one normal problem that I need help with. It's just like a general. I also get through it, and it does look good. So I can troubleshoot it. It's just not my favorite. I just much prefer screen printing stuff. But
stuff I've seen all looks decent. So
that's kind. That's kind. Thank you very much. It's not me anyway. It's the bloody digitizer, isn't it? Not mine.
Well, I was going to say that is part of the battle. If you're using a rubbish digitizer, then your things will have thread breaks. So you get what you pay for with the digitizer.
Sorry, one more question before I let you go. Do you use like just a random guy from Indonesia for your digitizing, or because it's through the company, do you have to use like a proper?
We use I think it's an Italian company, but they're basically the same as an Indonesian company. So
it's not like big franchises.
No, we've tried 3 or 4. We found one that we're happy with. I know there's a UK-based digitizer that everybody says is the best, which is David Sharp. And his stuff is very good, but it's expensive. It's I think it's around 20 quid for a setup, and obviously you can pay like 5 quid from Indonesia, or wherever else. So if we're doing a design where we know it's a very fussy customer and we want it to look as good as it possibly can, we will pay the extra and charge the customer the extra. But with embroidery, you can get away with so much sometimes. You could send them like the shittest JPEG and they'll somehow digitize the most amazing badge. So
I know. Just keep pushing the limits. Don't worry about it. Okay, cool. All right. And you have to send me your selfie, and then we're all sorted. Cool.
One other thing is I prepared my answers for somebody you should interview.
Yes.
There's a brand that I would like to know more about if you can get hold of them and interview them, called Dirty Velvet.
Dirty Velvet.
Yeah.
I love them already.
They do. It's quite political designs, and I can't work. Well, I think they do all their own manufacturing and printing.
Wow.
But their designs are worn by lots of like famous people and stuff. So they've got quite a big following. But I only heard about them recently. But their stuff looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Either them or have you heard of Luke Dixon from Bear Hug?
I know Bear Hug. Are you talking
Yeah.
about like, is it Bear Hug? That guy? No. Come give me
No,
a Bear Hug. The song?
The brand's called Bear Hug clothing.
Okay. Didn't embarrass myself trying to do a deep voice and okay, Bear Hug. Sorry. So
yeah.
Say his first name again because I was just throwing myself.
Luke Dixon.
Luke Dixon. Okay, cool.
His stuff's pretty cool. So I'd like to hear more from him.
Cool. I've got a few booked up, but that is good. Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
No worries.
And I'll DM you lots of questions about loads of stuff. So.
Yeah, hit me up about the festival stuff. I've got so much knowledge on it. So happy to help.
Awesome. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much. Okay.
No worries.
Awesome. Okay.
Speak
have a nice
soon.
night. Cheers.
Bye.